So now we come to that what is specific things about data. And qualifier means that when you are providing some extra characteristics to anything, that comes under qualification or qualifying something. So we have discussed that we have 3-4 data types like integer, character, float, and double. And then we also discussed that which type of values or the information which we can store in these data types. Now we come to some combinations which we can do and increase or shorten the size of our data types. So here you have two things. One is called length of the data, and then other one is called whether it is signed and unsigned. Signed means if you are giving sign to your values, whether they are positive or negative. Unsigned means you are not giving any value, any representation to the values, whether they are positive or negative. But if anything is unsigned, it means that it is automatically positive. Okay, it will be greater than or equals to 0. It will not be negative. But when you are want to store negative information, so you specifically give the sign. If you do not give store values in negative, if you store values in negative and still do not give sign, then it also okay, no problem at all. The only thing which you need to understand is that then in that case it reduces the size of your data type. Okay, so here you have used int in the previous program, means we have used int in the previous program. So if we write sort int, so it will reduce the size of the integer, so it will be shorter than integer, and number of bits will be less than or equals to number. So if you are writing sort int, then you can also write directly sort, that will also work, no problem. Then you have long int. So long int is greater than equals to integer value, and if you are using long, then also it will work, but it is always advisable that you write complete name long int. Okay, if you want to write long double, then it will increase the size of the double also, okay, then the previously available size of 8 bytes. So what happens in case of the sign thing? Okay, so when you have any variable which is using data type signed or qualifier signed and unsigned, what happens? Suppose you have 1 byte of information in your character. We have discussed that 1 byte can be stored in 1 character. So that 1 byte can come from this orange part which you are storing, and if it is stored as signed character, you are storing any value as signed character, then this is the representation internally in the memory. Here you have you can store information in 7 bits, and one most significant bit will be stored to represent the positive or negative number. Okay, so because of this thing, since you have 8 bits and you can store particular bit can store information 1 or 0, so total values which are available here which you can store, or your range of the data type can go, that is from 128 to 127, because 0 is also available in this. But if it is signed integer, then because integer size is your 32-bit basically, so it will go from minus 2 raised to the power 31 to plus 2 raised to the power 31 minus 1. Okay, so this will be the range for signed integer, and this will be range for the character integer, because here we, although our character is of 8 byte, but 1 bit we are storing to represent the sign. If your value is unsigned, you are not specifically writing the signed or unsigned in your variable name, then what happens that all the bits, all 8 bits are available to store the value, but your value will start from 0 to 255. So it becomes your 2 raised to the power 8. So 2 raised to the power 8 means 56, but since you are storing 0 also, so it becomes your 55. So you say unsigned character can store value from 0 to 255, and unsigned integer can store value 0 to 232 minus 1. So this will similarly it will work for long and short also. Okay, so now we come to the size and see the comparison of these sizes. That in C basically their size is like that you have character, then you have character size is 1. It can go, since it is character, okay, so it is considered that it is unsigned. Okay, so here you will go -28 to 127. If it is specifically unsigned, it means it is positive, then also the size is 1 byte, and then it will go from 0 to 255. Means value you can store from 0 to 255 in 1 byte. Similarly, you have signed character, then you can store -122. So that's why I said if you are writing signed, then it is similar to the character. Okay, you don't need to mention signed character, but specifically when you are writing unsigned, then only you have to mention unsigned. Sort range is of sort is of 2 byte size. It ranges goes from here to this 32,000 to 32,767. This unsigned sort. So you don't need to remember all these things. These are just for your information that these four these are the sizes for these data types, and this may be the range in which these values you can store in this particular data type. Okay. So this is also one of the table which you can consider according to the 32-bit.